It's such a glorious day here in Melbourne. We finally are experiencing some sun after continuous rain and strong winds, so we better check the succulents. Hi guys, this is Leslie of Succulent Social, and we're now here in the garden after 4 or 5 days of continuous rain. And I was just in a Facebook succulent group last night. I was looking through the discussions. I like reading the discussions there just to learn more and also to share some ideas. But there were a lot of questions about what to do with succulents during rain. Like, do I move them? Do I cover them? And so, since we've been having a few days of rain, I got inspired to actually just make this short video of the things that you should consider with regards to rain. So here we are in the garden after 5 days of rain. As you can see, all the leaves are wet. There are a lot of water on top of them, and it's the first day that we've been seeing the sun. It's actually the second day of winter as well, so it's cold too, and that's another thing to consider. But rain in itself actually is good for the succulents. That's how they get watered in the wild before we actually collected them and grow them in our own gardens. But in the wild, that's how they get watered, through the rain. And although now we've been using tap water, a few water from the rain is also beneficial to them because you know how tap water has chemicals and sometimes they have residue build up. The rain that hopefully washes them off, the buildup in the soil is being washed by the rain, so that is pretty good if we have rain in our succulents love it. And they if you notice, after rain the succulents are plump, they're more vibrant in color, they look livelier actually. So I'm not saying don't use tap water. Of course, you can still use tap water. We use tap water. But if you have access to rain, if you can collect rain in your water tank, in your bucket, do that because it's very beneficial for them. Another reason why rain is good is because, as we know, succulents, they do like infrequent but deep watering, and that's what rain actually gives them. Good watering, deep watering, and they love it. As we know, they store this water, and that's how they become low maintenance and hardy, and that's why we love them. But of course, just as rain is beneficial to our succulents, there are also a few things to consider, because too much of something, of course, is bad enough. Just like how too much sun exposure could lead to sunburn, too much rain could also potentially cause root rot and then eventually the death of our plants. Especially some areas have climate that are more susceptible to root rot because of their temperature and the season, the weather as well. So I'm just gonna mention a few ideas that maybe you can consider before it rains, when it's raining, and even after rain, just so we can make sure that our succulents survive. Of course, the number one thing would be the soil that you plant your succulents into. Succulents, they do like fast draining soil mix. So the idea is when you water your succulents, the soil gets wet, the roots of the succulents absorb the soil, but the rest of the water just flows down quickly because they don't want their roots to be submerged in wet soil for a very long time. And of course, the best way to also ensure that there's a good drainage is for you to use pots with drainage holes such as this one. Very, very important. Otherwise, it's just going to be a pool of water in your pot. If you have access to porous materials such as terracotta or concrete pots, that would be good too, because then the water easily evaporates. But Not all of our plants are in terracotta pots. A lot of our plants are also in plastic pots, but if you have access to terracottas or concrete, that would help a lot too. Another factor as well is air circulation. So I'm going to show you how we set up our succulents. So they are actually out in the open, nothing but blue skies above them. And then that's a tree where a possum lives. And then here, they're actually they have fast draining soil. They have pots with drainage, and they're also elevated. So we use some of these plastic pallets, and they are also elevated with Besser blocks. So what happens is that when it rains here, the water comes here, it flows through the drainage hole, it even flows through here and down to the ground. So in that way, if you have pots that are succulents that are in pots, please make sure that they are elevated and they're not sitting in the dirt, because there could be puddle build up in the soil, and therefore they will just be sitting in that for too long or until it's raining. And also this way it provides to some air circulation even under, so the air flows is just not above them but also under. If you are having your succulents in shelves, if you're getting shelves, best to get those that are racks that have I don't know how to call it, like mesh type. Yeah, I know some of us put them on top of flat racks, and I'm very guilty as well of that. But if you have access to shelves that are mesh wires style, please do get that. So just in case you have pots that are sitting on the ground, it would be best to actually put them on top of a ground that is covered with either gravel or mulch. So in this case we use mulch here, so that there's still a good drainage of water in the mulch. If you have landscape gardens, or if you're planning to have landscape gardens with succulent, it would be best to plant them with consider doing a slope of the ground, so that if you plant your succulents, there's some sort of elevation and the water will just flow through. So when a succulent actually receives a lot of water than they can handle, or the roots can handle, what happens, what could happen is something like this, wherein the roots will absorb a lot, and then there will be leaf burrs such as this one. So as you can see, there are cracks on the leaves, and just because the leaves cannot contain the too much water that has been absorbed there. Look at this. I don't know, is it variegating? I hope so. But anyway, so this is potentially what could happen, but this is not even the worst case scenario. Some of the plants, when they cannot contain it, the stem will just get mushy like this, and then they will just all the leaves will start to fall, and basically that's overwatering, as you can see with the discoloration of the leaves. And if you do not get a chance to actually save them, the whole plant will eventually die. But there are a lot of ways to actually save an overwatered succulent, but that's another story. But yeah, just to show you what potentially could happen to them. So a lot of ways to protect our succulents from excessive rain would be more on the preventive side. So as long as you have fast draining soil, air circulation, drainage, elevation, if you have all these things, you don't really need to worry a lot about rain. Your succulents will most likely survive it. But if you think that there's like a continuous rain or excessive rain, then of course first thing is always check the weather, and try to help our succulents in a way say after allowing them to have a little soak of the rainwater, you can move them in a covered area, or you could also put a tarp and cover them where they are located right now. Some people also have like those cute umbrellas, individual umbrellas for their succulents. So do what you need to do to protect them. Also good to check the weather if you're in an area where there are frost. So right now, for example, it's already winter in Australia, but we're lucky that we don't have much low temperatures here. So but if you're in that situation, frost or below freezing is not good for succulents, because they have water in them. And just like how hypothermia works for people, same thing goes for them, that they can't be exposed to below a freezing temperature for too long. So protect your succulents for that. And of course, once the rain has stopped, it would be good to also check into your succulents, check the garden, check how they're doing. If it's a strong wind, most probably some of the succulents might have toppled over. Or what you could do is to also tilt them, such as this, so that any water that has been trapped in the leaves could also flow out. We don't want water clogged in the leaves, because they will be susceptible to like discoloration in the leaves too. And yeah, look at this PVN, got a lot of water trapped in there. So just tilt them to remove those water. If your pots have saucers, it would be good to also tilt the water trapped in your saucers, or just remove the saucer first, just to allow more air circulation for your succulent. Yeah, so just remove this water. And also you could see me using blower to actually remove leaves that are trapped, especially in closed rosettes, the compact rosettes. They're clogged in there. They're trapped in there. But to be honest, I don't really use this in real life. I just want to show you in this video like what are the things that you could do to remove the water in your succulents. But basically we rely heavily on good air circulation, and that is also the reason why you should check the weather in your area. Like if it's a good day after the rainy days, then we just allow them to the good air circulation to actually work on our succulents. And yeah, and just in case that your succulents get overwatered because of the rain, well, that's a story for another day. But there are a lot of tips as well on how to save them. But for now, that's it about rain and how to protect your succulents from rain. This video has gone longer than I expected. I only want to do a short video, but well, I hope this helps. I hope we were able to share with you some things that we do with our succulents and with regards to rain. Hope you like this video, and if you haven't done so, please do subscribe to our channel, as we'd like to share more of our succulent experience with you. You can also follow us on our social media accounts, and we hope to see you next time. Bye for now.